We begin our story by watching as Oscar the Grouch flies a 2001 Ford F-150. After betraying the Third Reich and telling a very elegant "your mother" joke, we proceed to absolutely obliterate the off-brand Space Italians.
Take that ridiculous thing
Now that we've cancelled Italy on Twitter, we noticed as John Boyega is currently hooked up to the most exotic acid trip of his life. Anyways, after finishing the most pointless mission in the entire game and realizing that the power of edgy blue-haired chicks isn't enough to suppress the power of a $5 hot and ready pizza, we witness an act of domestic terrorism and then get overthrown by a bunch of Twitter users. After realizing that he's in danger of being cancelled, Finn from Adventure Time attempts to make an escape, only to be stopped by new female side character that is definitely still a main character in the next film. But this doesn't matter because plot convenience. Anyways, after coming up with a plan to escape the Space Italians, we find out that the key to our problem is in the Caribbean. And our key is James Bond. But before we can rip the spinal cord out of his back, Predator style, we were stopped by the police for previously treating the town as a gladiatorial arena and illegally parking on the beach. After being thrown in prison and meeting Bond James, we immediately escape prison. Hard cut to female main character who is currently harassing fellow schizophrenic Mark Hamill after finding out about his ability to sense drugs from a mile away. Eventually, female main character finally convinces the schizophrenic to teach her the ways of plot convenience. So, after a little Skyrim horse climbing, major plot holes, and a few drugs later, we finally begin training, only to immediately go to the racist side. After beating difficult riddles for smart kids, we have a bonding moment with Buff Racist Jr. that apparently upsets the schizophrenic due to plot convenience being a stronger schizophrenic than him. Anyways, after beating the ever-living crap out of an old homeless guy and committing a mild amount of tomfoolery, we find ourselves confronting the Buff Racist and proceed to tell him a "your father" joke, which only proceeds to make him more and more like a Twitter user. Little did we know, however, that we would be meeting the actual racist Uncle Grandpa, who almost immediately gets turned into a 5-star fillet by the fatherless emo kid. Anyways, after having a fight with a local Ku Klux Klan rally and a buff racist, we cut back to John Boyega, female side character, a living basketball, and a gamer, who just committed breaking and entering inside of a high-security space pizzeria. After spending an uncopious amount of time on a stealth mission, we were betrayed by the Call of Duty player. Hard cut back to Moon Knight, who we see complaining about a recent taking away of his Twitter verification after saying a racially motivated tweet about racially motivated tweets, but gets declined by the German dictator, who also gives the Twitter users some words of encouragement.
You should kill yourself now!
Okay.
Anyways, hard cut back to female side character and John Boyega, who are confronted by our old and very much tortured friend, Chromie Homie, who we easily defeat with the power of plot convenience, Home Depot, and a living basketball. Some more crimes and temper tantrums later, and we find ourselves on Funny Snow Planet 2.0, where we need to send a Discord message to the rest of the German army to help us escape. Little did we realize, however, that the Space Italians were right behind us, with a literal giant death laser. However, little were we expecting a visit from not only plot convenience, but also the schizophrenic himself, Mark Hamill, who turns out to be the most insane Giga Chad you've ever seen. Anyways, one-liner in case of plot convenience later, and we find ourselves once again in this episode on the run from the police. And then we finally end our story.